Sega.
In June 23rd of 1991, the world saw the release of Sonic the Hedgehog, a video game platformer that showed Mario wasn't as unstoppable as everyone thought. Today marks 33 years ever since that day. In order to celebrate, I've decided to show my journey with the Blue Hedgehog all throughout my life. Moments of fun and insane speed that would always be the beacon to lighten up my day. So sit back, have a snack, as I start talking about how I got to know Sonic the Hedgehog, my favorite franchise. One thing that's always been a doozy for me is which was my first contact with Sonic because of how young I was during that time, which I recall it was around early to mid 2010s. I was slowly getting interested in video games, with Wii Sports and Mario Galaxy on the Wii being first instances of that. But apart from the Wii, I also had a PS2, which I also had my first share amount of fun with. The main reason it was because of a certain video game that released on that console. Sonic Heroes. The amount of time I spend on this game whenever I get the chance to play it on my PS2 is insane. But can you blame me? It's just stupid fun through and through, even if the game was difficult for me because of how young I was. Like, it took me until the beginning of the current decade to finally beat the final boss. However, that didn't stop me from enjoying playing the game with its team mechanic and how different each dynamic between them was. I'll never forget the sheer scale Relic Canyon and Egg Fleet have when you first play them, or Team Sonic and Team Dark's intro cutscenes because of how iconic they are. This game was just really special to me and a great introduction to the Sonic franchise. A little side story, and still around the same age, when walking through a mall with my family, I stumbled across one of these places with mobile devices. When I got to see and mess with them out of curiosity, the one I was using happened to have Sonic 4 Episode 2 on it. I was only able to reach the wall on the first level where you gotta use the flight ability because young me couldn't figure it out. Yep. That was kinda dumb. Going back to the Wii, I did say that it was pretty much my first step into the video game industry, which is probably why I confused my first Sonic game with it either being Heroes or the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed is an appetizer that leads to a main meal which I've been anticipating to consume for, at the very least, an entire decade. My life's not been the same ever since I saw the opening with how amazing it looked, sounds, and animates. While this was another game that took me a while to finish, again, it was fun doing so. The day stages are so thrilling and exciting to go through, especially with how fast you can be with the boost. And the night stages are oddly relaxing, even if they're focused on combat. I still need to play them though. And knowing that there's a version out there that looks stunning and is overall better than what I played on the Wii is something I, to this day, really look forward to playing. So yeah, that was the start of my relationship with the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Not bad for a beginning, huh? As the 2010s were ending and my age was reaching double digits, Sonic was being more prominent in my life, not to the same degree as Mario, for example, because I was more invested in Mario than Sonic, but he definitely was there. I was aware of Sonic Boom at the time because my friend had Rise of Lyric as well as Lost World for his birthday. I don't have any opinion on Rise of Lyric and the 3DS games, but I did watch the TV show, some episodes of it, and it was a very good time. As for the classics, I did play most of them via the mobile remakes, as well as playing all of Sonic 4 Episode 2. I had a good time with them, especially Sonic 1 and 2. CD is fine and Episode 2 is alright, but I don't really go out of my way to play them. Finally, for modern Sonic, while I had an okay time with Forces and Team Sonic Racing, Mania and the 3DS version of Generations were the ones that got me hooked. They were so addicting to play because of how straight up fun they are, one being what feels like a true sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and the other being what makes the franchise so great in its own unique way. The most influential thing in this era, by far, was YouTube. This is where my knowledge and enjoyment of Sonic pretty much skyrocketed. I finally remember some of these old but nostalgic videos, from Sonic Shorts, to Sonic stop motion adventures, to National Unleashed, and to many more content that fills me with joy whenever I watch it. During this era, I was still more of a Mario fan, but Sonic was definitely one of my favorite franchises ever around that time. And even then, it could only go anywhere else but higher. At the start of the current decade, first thing I did was watch a Sonic movie on the cinema with my best friend and my dad. And it was a very great and fun movie to watch. Now, because it was 2020, I couldn't really get my hands on any official Sonic content until college next year, which was just okay if you ask me. So since I pretty much had nothing better to do, my attention was directed towards fan content instead. Watching more YouTube, as well as playing fan games that my own computer was able to handle, like Sonic GT, which has my favorite movement in any Sonic game. Sonic Free Air, which is the way I played Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the first time, my favorite classic Sonic game. Sonic Roller Blast 2, honestly the best Sonic fan game ever made, among other fan games. But then, when 2021 kicked around, two important events happened that solidified the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise as my favorite one of all time. The Sonic 13th Anniversary Symphony is one of the greatest moments in all of Sonic's history, and being on the premiere was a truly magical experience. Those were 2 hours of heaven piercing my ears that was worth my time and that I won't forget ever. It was such a time to be a Sonic fan at that moment, finally leaving the 2010s behind and going back to what Sonic was known for, without any critics judging otherwise. The concert made me understand why I loved Sonic so much, but months later, at the end of the year, when I saw the announcements of a certain ceremony, I knew that Sonic would become my favorite franchise of all time.
Over here!
One game.
It's too dangerous.
That's all it took for me. To live in speed. As you can assume from what just happened, I was very excited for Sonic Frontiers and the second movie. There was also Prime and Origins, but I didn't give them a lot of thought. They were neat, I guess. So then, after watching the greatest movie adaptation of a video game in April, I had to wait for the rest of the year to play my favorite Sonic game. Yes, of course I disagree with the Frontiers discourse on Twitter. What made you come to that conclusion? I swear, man, the moment I saw Sonic contemplate the island, I knew this was gonna be a game I would never forget. Throughout the base game and all of its updates, I am always having a blast running around the Starfall Island. Yes, I know it's not perfect, but shut up, let me have fun. I am just so happy that Sonic can be taken seriously again and not as a joke. But a story that, I'm gonna admit, almost made me cry during some key parts of it. Frontiers is just a really special game to me, and I'm not letting anyone convince me otherwise. It was the game that took the franchise to an era of a renaissance, and it made me a true Sonic fan that is always excited for whatever new stuff comes out. The best part of this? That excitement has no signs of stopping anytime soon. With the release of Superstars, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, and the upcoming release of the third movie in Sonic X Shadow Generations. Heck, I even started playing the older Sonic games on emulators and Steam, as well as making this YouTube channel, which has mostly been about Sonic so far. Sonic has been running for 33 years, which is something not a lot of franchises can flex on. And I hope it stays that way, because as far as I'm aware, even if there's been highs and lows, even if the games are not as polished as others, I'm gonna keep moving forward and running alongside him. Because that's how I got to know Sonic, my favorite franchise ever, and I don't regret it in the slightest. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and subscribe for more. This was Sergio MG. I'll see you later.